Mitrom and Bandhuvam, dear friends, welcome to South Asia Maps Intellectual Kshatriya channel, education channel, where I will bring the fascinating aspects of Indian culture, heritage and geography. Once in a while I also post on other topics. Today we are continuing our discussion on human ecology, human impasse playlist. This is part 10. The basic ideas essentially come from Dr. William Catton Jr.'s monumental books, Overshoot and Bottleneck. This is Dr. Catton, Professor Emeritus. He passed away, I think, 4 or 5 years back. Was at University of Washington, Pullman in the Northwest Pacific region of United States of America, south of 49th parallel north, Overshoot book, Bottleneck book. And this is my main YouTube channel. That is, there are many presentations. South Asia Maps Reddy, more than 200 presentations I made on diverse topics. The interested audience can go to that site, and if you like the content, and you can consider subscribing and posting your comments. Today's topic of discussion is part 10, niches. It is an ecological term. We will talk about agricultural niches. We will talk about non-agricultural niches, that is industrial niches, military industrial complex, MIC related niches. This is Homo Sapiens, that is the biological name for a normal human being. The biotic community, animal kingdom, human animals. This is Homo colossus, a gigantic human, culturally different than Homo sapiens, consumes a lot of resources, with high resource appetites and demand, in essence, a resource prodigal. Here I have represented a simple, what is a niche? You need not be too much picky about the ecological meaning. Niche is a place for an organism. Let's say we have a forest here. We can say a niche here. For these birds, there is a niche here. Foraging at the bottom. Let's pretend these animals just forage, eating the insects only in this region. They are capable. Maybe they have bigger the beak or something like that. These birds, they forage on the top. That means they are foraging at the top. They have a different niche. These birds have a different niche. They generally don't compete with each other at all. A niche is a place for an organism. A niche is essentially concerns with an organism gets its nourishment, nutrients, eating the twigs or the flowers or fruits from here, and it also makes disposals of feces, urine, excreta, and in the niche organism interacts with other organisms in a parasitic relationship or predatory relationship, in a mutualistic relationship or competitive relationship, so on. That is a niche. In general, niche means if you take a college student has a particular niche, a professor has a particular niche, a principal has a particular niche, and a record keeper has a particular niche. That is about a niche in a generic term, and we'll talk about this in respect to ecological terms, then their implications, how they affect our living in modern times. So these are essentially the same. In the left part, we go to the enlarged portion and we'll talk about the niches. Niche definition is the function of an organism in the environment, role of organism in the environment where it lives. Essentially how it gets the nutrients. It withdraws the nutrients. Human beings withdraws the nutrients, grows the crops in industrial agriculture and eats them. He makes the disposals, normal biological human related disposals. Industrial humans, Homo Sapiens, also make other disposals through detritivorous devices. Their cars make certain disposals, carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, and they pollute the waters, they pollute the rivers, they pollute the ocean. So these are also disposals human organism makes. They interact with others. Humans has taken over the entire planet Earth as a dominant species. That means they removed the flora and fauna. They killed them, they eliminated them, means they interacted in a particular sense. So the niches are biological niches. Ecologically, we can extend the terms, and because Homo Sapiens impacts the planet Earth in a varied way, we can talk about social niches, political niches, economic niches. The US President David Eisenhower, when he was remitting the office in 1961, that means just before Kennedy's era, he succeeded the Roosevelt, who died around about 1945, then Truman, then David Eisenhower. He coined this word called military industrial complex. That is the political word essentially. Dr. Catton equates that more or less to what is called industrial occupational niches that humans occupy today. Military industrial complex is nothing but, you can equate them to ecologically, occupational niches. This have an insidious effect on human population today. The problem with the military industrial complex society, industrial society we live today, we have depleted the carrying capacity surplus that agricultural societies have. So, a living generation extracted, that means the people living before the World War I and World War II, they depleted most of the resources, the minerals, the metals, natural gas, oil, and the easily available coal. We have depleted those resources. These resources will not be available to the posterity. If we have not depleted, our forefathers have not depleted, they should have been available to the posterity to use. So niches in a modern sense, we can say the jobs, your occupations. Modern time when we are living in the niches based upon the fossil fuel based legacy. All our modern society runs, the internets and software jobs, the political niches are fossil fuel based niches. They are fossil fuel legacy. That means this expansion of these niches occurred. Steam engine was invented, then oil was discovered, and we developed military industrial complex and these special niches. Before that, the civilization for nearly 10,000 years, agriculture was invented 8,000 BC. You add 2,000 years now, around about 10,000 years back, people used to have predominantly living in agricultural niche, that is a permanent niche. In agriculture, you take away the land and increase the carrying capacity of the land by eliminating the flora and fauna. Our competitors, plants and animals, it is more or less permanent. Whereas with the discovery and That is by taking over of the land from our competitors to our benefit. Industrial niches is by drawing down the resources. These resources are temporary resources and they're depleted very fast compared to the rate of accumulation. So they're not permanent, they're impermanent. That means today our 8 billion population has outgrown the niche. And the trauma of adapting a new niche means a person changes his occupation to one occupation to other occupation, loses the employment, gets a blue slip and so on. He has to learn the new things and undergo the trauma of adapting to a new niche. So we talked about the taking over of the humans. I talked about, if you go and type the human ecology Reddy, you can see the previous thing. Taking over. The humans have taken over the land from their competitors. Then the carrying capacity, how many number of the people the planet Earth can support. The difference between the Homo colossus, giant human being, and a normal human, Homo sapiens. The availability of the resources a few hundred years back gave ecological exuberance, led to emotional exuberance, and carrying capacity, the discovery of the new world from the old world, drawing down, withdrawing by the digging deep into the soil, minerals, metals, coal, natural gas, and detritus ecosystems, and so on. That is essentially about the niches. When the Europeans discovered new sea routes 1500 years or so roundabout, and they found the empty land and they settled themselves, the life was very good. They were Homo sapiens. After steam engine was assembled in Britain around about 1800 and industrial revolution started. Now the Homo sapiens have become Homo colossus and developed military industrial complexes, occupational niches that are dependent on drawing down the natural resources, minerals and metals, which is an impermanent niche. Whereas our previous generations who lived as agriculturalist, farmers, small community, before 1800 industrial revolution, they had a permanent niche, they had a carrying capacity surplus, that is agricultural niches. That is about the niches we are talking about, and agricultural niches, industrial niches, Homo sapiens and Homo colossus, and so on. Thank you very much. This is your presenter Reddy at South Asia Maps Educational Intellectual Kshatriya channel, and see you later in other presentation.